Mass surveillance via satellite sensors and artificial intelligence. Mass surveillance. Well, so a Delta plane taking off from MSP and flying to London, what will you anticipate it's supposed to accomplish? What
you think? Oh wait, I know where you're going.
What are we doing here?
So what you're saying is, oh, hey Delta, we did notice that your flight from Minneapolis to London is supposed to only have a CO2 reading of 0.38 gigabytes or whatever,
right?
And you exceeded that by 0.4 gigabytes.
So therefore, wite us a check for $400,000,
here's your
$4
fine.
million or whatever.
Yeah, here's your fine.
This is all BS
because you went over the speed limit. You know, that's what it's going to be.
And how long before the individual goes to the mailbox and there's a, like I get these bills once in a while from the Chicago tollway deal.
Sure.
Because they just capture your license plate and they bill you.
Yeah, it's great. I love doing that.
And so then I write them a check and say, well, how long before we get the same kind of letter from the Climate Trace Coalition?
Ooh, have a nice big signature on the front.
You've exceeded your monthly driving allowability.
Don't even give them an idea.
You have exceeded your 122.5 miles that we allow you to drive this month.
Or a squad car, what would we call it? The CO2 squad car shows up at your front door.
Right.
Guy in a badge, he's got the big hat on.
Yeah.
Here's your ticket, sir. We noticed that you exceeded your limit.
Well, Mrs. Reuvers, we note that your dryer has been emitting, that's just steam, though.
Do you think that the likes of Al Gore truly believe this? Or do you think the likes of Al Gore simply realize this is such a way to stay in the game, make a lot of money, and pretend that I'm fighting for a cause?
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because he can't possibly.
This was the vice president of the United States.
Isn't that something?
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that something?
Yep. We will show up to your door, Joe. That's what's coming. Well, you're seeing what's taking place in places like Melbourne, where we're arresting people for wearing the wrong kind of mask.
See, here's why this could happen. Because the proponents of reining in climate change and getting the temperature to a pre-industrial revolution level, they are criticized highly for the fact that they're all talk. Nothing's really happened.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to sustain themselves and to grow their own importance, they will have to make something happen.
Oh, boy.
So you will see this kind of thing go into play.
A definite cause and an action. Yes, you're right.
Because there's nothing, you haven't done anything, because the self-evident truth is that man, human people can't control nature.
No, it's been evident for decades.
Oh, it's been evident since the beginning of time.
You know what I mean.
And so to eliminate the obvious truth that you can't do anything, you will do something. And in this case, the Climate Trace Coalition, which in and of itself is a completely dangerous idea.
And President Biden, he will appoint Greta Thunberg to be the chairperson of the CO2 police officers union.
Well, and the likes of Gore and the rest of these frauds, they find themselves acquiescing to the likes of Greta Thunberg, who is among those who are criticizing them for not doing anything.
So here's action. Yes.
Well, so here comes Al, more than happy to tell Andrea Mitchell on the very welcoming network MSNBC for the likes of Gore. Here's Gore saying, well, here's what we're going to do. We've got it figured out. We're going to use technology and artificial intelligence to essentially spy on people.
Well, and when she asked him the question, she obviously knew that this was the case ahead of time, the way she framed her question.
Yeah, play it again. And what you hear her say is that was a 9-minute interview. We're not taking anything out of context. I just wanted you to hear Al's answer to this. And she starts by saying, something about the Climate Trace Coalition. You hear her.
And your Trace Coalition uses satellites to monitor greenhouse gas emissions. How significant will this technology be for holding countries and companies accountable?
Well, yes, we use it's a coalition of artificial intelligence companies and NGOs. We get data continuously from 300 existing satellites, more than 11,000 ground-based, air-based, sea-based sensors, multiple internet data streams, and using artificial intelligence, all that information is combined, visible light, infrared, all of the other information that is brought in, and we can now accurately determine where the greenhouse gas emissions are coming from. And next year, we'll have it down to the level of every single power plant, refinery, every large ship, every plane, every waste dump, and we'll have the identities of the people who are responsible for each of those greenhouse gas emission streams. And if investors or governments or civil society activists want to hold them responsible, they will have the information upon which to base their action in holding them responsible.
And upon which, what will be the science used to determine what a cargo ship can emit? And if the Climate Trace Coalition finds that a cargo ship violates their standards, these unelected people, he kept saying NOGs or NGOs, non-governmental organizations. What are you going to do, Al, when your Climate Trace Coalition discovers that a cargo ship with Maersk written on the side, bringing to the United States, 500 Bentelli e-bikes, how do they escape your vigilance? And then if they don't, what do? Do you put them out of business? Do you encourage investors to no longer invest in Maersk? Do you encourage its flagged home country to put them out of business? Do you unleash the youth of the world who are so stupid they have no historical context? This is horrible.
So right underneath this video, Joe, what Gore and his 300 satellites are going to find is that it is the elite super rich luxury class who are the world's largest polluters. New research by the Institute for European Environmental Policy and the Stockholm Environment Institute has found that by 2030, the carbon footprints of the wealthiest 1% of humanity are on track to be 30 times larger than the size compatible with limited global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. The Paris Agreement's more ambitious temperature target. So basically, he's going to say, oh, wait, we're the ones that are polluting this joint so bad.
No, what that is a further indictment of the United States. That's just merely
Is that what that is?
That's a further indictment of wealth,
Okay.
Western civilization, capitalism,
Evil.
the United States.
Evildoers.
China's not playing this game. India's not playing this game. Indonesia's not playing this game.
Russia.
Russia's not playing this game. The EU, basically, and the United States. And obviously, the United States is wealthier and more powerful than the EU. So this is an attack on the United States.